Recession versus depression? The truth about economic slumps. The word recession scares all people living in the world because many people lose their jobs and cannot afford to pay their rent or mortgage. The stock market also goes down, and it creates a panicking situation among people. The economy of the US has seen a sharp decline of 1.4% in the first quarter of 2022. So, as a result, many experts are predicting an economic recession in the next 12 to 18 months. After these predictions, Americans want to know how to protect themselves from this worrying situation. Hello 101 community, welcome back to our YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to talk about recession and depression in detail and their differences as well. Before we begin, if you're new here, make sure to subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to never miss any updates. Definition of recession. A recession means a significant drop in the economy of a country that can stay for months or even years. One thing you must keep in mind is that the overall output of the country decreases during this time span. Due to the less economic activity in the country, companies find it hard to pay salaries to their employees. As a result, people lose their jobs. Every country faces recession because there is no country in the whole world that has just seen a continuous rise. Businesses also don't spend money on manufacturing. Sometimes, it happens that due to certain rumors and when some experts warn people about the coming recession, many businesses immediately cut back their spending, which leads the economy into a plunge. Recently, the Fed has increased the rates that are about 40 years high in order to control the skyrocketing inflation. The reasons behind recession have always been a major topic among economists. In America, a recession occurs when there are 2 successive quarters of negative GDP growth. If we talk about the macro level, the recession occurs as a result of negative disruption in the balance between supply and demand. If you have a question in mind about why the disruption happens between the supply and demand, actually, it happens due to a mismatch. Let's take an example here. If people need more goods than is produced in the market, it would automatically hit the balance. If people need more goods than there are produced in the country, the price of goods and services are sold, which stimulates an economic decline. If we talk about recession on a microeconomic level, the country faces a recession due to a variety of factors like overextension of credit and debt on risky loans. Other factors include the increase in the supply of money in the market, credit by the Fed, and the artificially repressed interest rates during peak times. The economic association between supply and demand is imitated in its inflation rates and interest rates. Skyrocketing inflation that is not escorted by high demand or wage growth can badly hit the economy of the country, and it would ultimately put the country into recession. You might already know that inflation occurs as a result of an increase in the price of commodities. In another way, you can say that when the value of the currency declines. A low inflation rate boosts economic activities. If we talk about the interest rates, it is actually connected with the cost of borrowing money for individuals or companies, and we have to give it back in the form of a percentage. So the low interest rate means that companies can afford to borrow extra money that can be used to invest. If the Fed increases the rates of interest, so it will be difficult for companies or individuals to borrow money, so it will lead to a slowdown in economic activity. Remember, nothing lasts forever. Fluctuation occurs in the market. Many people ask a question about what causes the fluctuation. You can think about various factors, like the war. You may have heard the latest news about the Russia and Ukraine war. There are also factors that play their roles, like natural disasters and unstable political conditions. Let's take an example of an earthquake. If it destroys the infrastructure of the country that is used for producing the goods or services, so it will adversely affect the supply level. So the goods will be produced less and the price will be increased. It will then discourage the demand and can lead to a recession. What is depression? If we talk about the definition of economic depression, it is actually a long period of economic turmoil. So the economy of the country does not grow, and it also increases the unemployment rate. Sometimes we refer to it as depression. During the long period of economic depression, people see a sharp decline in their income level, and as a result, there are many credit defaults. Deflation is a common feature of economic depression, in which the prices of goods and services fall and economic activities see a setback. In severe cases, some countries also lose the value of their currencies. The difference between the recession and the depression. As we have already told you that whenever an economy of a country sees a negative growth in its GDP for a period of 6 months or more, we call this situation a recession. However, explaining depression might be unclear even for some experts, so you can say that the depression is longer lasting and more extreme than the recession. The major difference between the recession and depression is the time period. If we have to give you an example of the difference between these two terms, you can say the economic recession is like a natural disaster, like when a hurricane passes after causing a few damages. Everything starts getting back to normal. Everyone returns back to work, and the economy of the country starts getting on track. This is the situation of a recession. On the other hand, depression is a financial crisis model. After a financial crisis, a country normally needs 5 to 10 years to get back to a normal position. This means that depression puts severe damage to the economy. Now, you can have a pretty good idea that this situation is much worse than the example of a natural disaster. If you liked this video so far, press the like button and subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to develop yourself financially and want to take your future into your own hands, check the links in the video description. How you can protect yourself in economic uncertainty. If you really want to protect yourself from an uncertain time, you don't need to retrench. Instead, you should focus on flexibility so that you can protect your finances from an economic downturn. The best thing you can do is ensure your steady stream of income because, during the uncertain times, your cash runs out of your account in days and you find it hard to cover your expenses. Warning signs should be enough for you to worry about your future. Therefore, you should try to apply for new and safer job positions, or you can also demand an increase in your salary. After the pandemic situation, plenty of companies are recruiting workers, so this might be an opportunity for you to start a new career. Remember, as soon as recession hits the country, it would change everything, and things would get worse even beyond your imagination. Another important thing to focus on is building an emergency fund. As we've mentioned earlier, during an uncertain time, your cash just runs out of your account. That is why you need a cash cushion. Now you might have a question in mind. How much money should you have in your account? Actually, it depends on your monthly expenses. You must have such an amount in your hands that can easily cover the period of 6 months so that if you lose your job, you can still manage your expenses. Some experts also suggest that you should know the difference between the things that you need and the things that you want. Also, you can invest your money in the stock market if you can hold it for 3 to 5 years. Remember, if you can control your emotions even during the economic downturn, nothing is better than that. You will be amazed to get a return that would be beyond your imagination. One good thing about recession is that it also makes people millionaires who can make smart choices during uncertain times. Another fact you should know about recession is that it does not remain forever, so the situation of the country always changes, and America has a history of bouncing back after the downturn. The last major economic collapse occurred in the US in 2007, and it lasted for 18 months. After that, the economy of the US also saw the greatest growth ever. That's all for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to our channel and click on the bell icon so you'll be notified of every update. Also, Don't forget to check the links in the video description. And while you're here, click to watch one of these 2 videos appearing on your screen right now. I'll see you there. Take care and stay tuned.